What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
And this is Lex, guys, back at it again.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. It's finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. It's finally here, guys. Moviegoers all around the world. This movie has changed everything. It's changed the game. It's changed everything. But let's get right to it. One of the top anticipated movies of the year, most definitely here. And we got a lot riding on this movie. A lot riding. A whole studio, if you will, refresh, rebrand for DC Studios and everything. If you do not know, if you have not known, that there's a new head honcho here, and it's actually the same director, directed by James Gunn. But yeah, let's get right to it, Lex. This is our official review, guys. But Lex, I'm gonna pass the torch off to you. Pass the symbol off to you, man, to like say your piece. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you like about it? No spoilers, by the way, guys. We will not be mentioning any spoilers.
Yeah, man. So at this point, just for the audience, so they know, I've seen it twice.
We both seen it twice, by the way.
Yeah, we've both seen it twice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I really do. I have come to the conclusion that I don't even want to say unfortunately, because I was very pleased with the movie as a whole, but I want to know, like, I can't come to say that I loved it as a whole just yet. I loved a lot of things in it, but I really, really liked the movie. I do think it hit exactly what I think we needed. I think the movie has a lot of mass appeal. And I think my biggest concern was addressed, and was the fact that, you know, the cast seemed a little crowded every time they announced a new character, a new superhero, that especially superheroes that I felt like demand space and time in the movie. I was a little concerned that this would stop feeling like a Superman movie. James Gunn has a pretty good track record with ensemble like cast. However, those ensemble cast is usually like unknown characters that he gets to kind of develop on their own and the scale of it. But with Superman at the center, like, that's just really hard, and it could be dangerous territory. Happy to say that wasn't really much, like, really an issue. There are some feelings of like wanting to see more, which is great. And most of my reasons for it not being at the love level for the movie is actually just like things that needed to be added. There's not a lot of things here that I feel needed to be subtracted or anything like that.
Yeah.
You and I discussed it a little bit. It's like, I don't know if this is selfish of me, but I think even just having the movie be 2 hours and 20 minutes wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. I don't know, what exactly to fill all those 20 minutes, but there was a little bit of breathing room that we needed in certain scenes to really add that depth that would have gotten me, I think, to the love state. But really, really enjoyed it and had a blast. And I think the comic book fan in me is just a very happy camper with what we got to see in this movie.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have to agree with you as well. It's a refreshing take of the character. It really is refreshing take of the character, the studio, everything. We knew it's high stakes here. We got a lot. We can't deny this is high stakes. It's almost like everything, like James Gunn was put to the wall in a sense, metaphorically speaking, and was like, dude, this has to be panned out very well, has to be made. And honestly, rest assured, I am happy he started his own, because of course, he was hired as a DC, like the Kevin Feige. He was hired on, and I'm happy that he was the one to actually start the universe himself. You could tell it takes very care. He's very careful with this, and he touches on points that I never thought we would get a Superman in our lifetime. We would get something like that. I mean, you know, this film really has the vibrant colors that we always wanted in a Superman movie, and I know we talked about it on our After the Reaction. If you haven't checked that out, guys, After the Reaction, I did say, and I said it again right now, is the fact that suit, you know, when I first reviewed it, I didn't love it as much, but the first like 10 minutes of the movie, you're sucked in right away. I mean, you're sucked into how much grounded the character of Superman will really be, and everything. Yeah, he's very fragile. He's presenting the S symbol. I mean, everything is so vibrant.
I would say vulnerable, not necessarily fragile. I mean, without going into any
Well,
spoilers or anything.
yeah, I mean, comparing it to like Man of Steel made him seem he was invincible, right? So it's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
he's way
yeah.
more
So
fragile than that. Yeah, because everyone's used to that. We all are. You know.
gotcha. Yeah. Um, no, I think James Gunn addressed some of the biggest concerns that I feel like other um directors or writers. It happens in the comic books as well. Like
Mhm.
he addressed what most have struggled with when it comes to telling an interesting Superman story,
Yeah,
and that is like the common complaint has been that he's overpowered and that
yes,
it's hard to tell a story around a character that could just
he's
be
invincible in a
or
way.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, or
yeah.
that there's no stakes. I gotta say, like, this is the movie that I felt like Superman related faced some of the highest stakes.
Mhm.
I think um from like just everything that he deals with and all the emotion. There's
Mhm.
emotional conflict and there's physical conflict where you can really see that he was struggling. But I think the point is, like, this is an average like day for him or an average
Yeah,
week, like the type of challenges that he takes
the
on,
global conflicts that he
both.
takes on.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah,
the role that he plays in this world is unorthodox, and I think it's a really interesting take to show us how much he struggles and how he's not this expert at this just yet. This is year
Mhm.
three
3, yep, year 3.
of his career
So he's
as
learning.
Superman.
Yeah,
And I think it shows that, and that's interesting because it makes the character a little bit more compelling. And I'm excited to see him grow over the years, right? Like, this is a DCU that I think
yeah,
James Gunn said, at least to start, they have this 10-year plan where, if you think about it, this Superman is going to evolve and become this more fleshed
yeah.
out, perhaps stronger character and things like that. But I really love what we saw here from David Cornsword. I think his performance was really great
Yes,
as
man,
Superman.
yes.
I do think he's going to leave a very lasting impression as Superman in years to come. Like, this movie alone, very strong impression. But
Yeah,
I think I'm excited at the potential of what he's gonna do with being the face of this
mhm.
franchise to an extent, the face of this DCU.
100%, man. David Court Sweat. That was the only thing I was all like, Cavill, no Henry Cavill, no. And that's the
It's
thing too.
time, man. It's time to
Snyder
move
fans.
on.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you guys. But David Court Sweat's here. He presents the character in a new light, and that's the one thing too is that which I really did appreciate was that they did a report early on before the movie release date. I think it was like last week or something, and David Court Sweat did a press junket was like, hey, we met,
They spoke.
he
Yeah.
spoke, and I love that. I love that.
And that's what it is. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
It's
fans.
passing the torch to the next of Ken, right? It's a passing the torch
Yeah.
and explaining him the stakes of playing these characters that are
The
they're so popular, and it could be good or bad, right? Good or bad,
yeah. If
and depending on the
I think,
movie. Yeah,
if the actors are ready
yeah.
to move on and pass the torch, I think
And
as fans,
and
like,
one of the
we have to do
key
the same.
Yeah, one of the key points that I would say too, it's hopeful tone in this movie. It really is. It's very
Yeah.
hopeful. It's a very imaginative world, if you will, that James Gunn has created, and it's
Yeah.
something very different. Something of a start of the DC universe. It feels a lot like a universe than ever
Yeah.
before, and in a great way. In a great way. Don't get me wrong. It's in a great way. Is there times where the characters get a little crowded? Little bit, but honestly, they kind of collaborate very well, and it's always very quick. So maybe at
Yeah.
times it does, and I could see that. I understand that, but
I'd
at the
say they
same
all
time,
had.
though, yeah,
Sorry.
no, no,
Yeah, like,
go,
they
yeah,
all
go have
had a
your
reason.
standout role. Yeah,
They
yeah,
all had a reason to be there, even if some of
exactly,
the reasons were smaller than others.
exactly. And another pet peeve that we've talked about, me and Lex talked about this off camera. A pet peeve, small little pet peeves, is I didn't like how Metropolis was kind of like
Well, hold on.
used to stakes happen, at least this like Metropolis was it was like, oh, okay, it was they were known for some
With
certain situations.
Yeah, without too many spoilers, but
Yeah,
for context, I mean, James Gunn has already said, like, this is a world where metahumans exist and they
yes,
have
yeah,
existed for quite some time.
it's
So you got
it's
to imagine,
yeah,
like, people don't react the same way as they would to this calamity taking place, but
yes,
they're somewhat prepared for it, right? And so I think that's
yeah,
what Ryan is
it's
mentioning, is like,
it's yeah, it's
if
definitely different because if you look at the Man of Steel, the way they portrayed, that Metropolis was like
move on, man.
shocking, and I know, but I have to compare what people have
No,
seen.
yeah, yeah.
So like I'm all like it's totally different because this was shocking and alien from another like versus now it's like, oh, we're kind of
Yeah,
used to it.
Man of
Like it
Steel
just,
was this
yeah,
really big event that
yeah,
woke up people
yes,
like to the fact that aliens are real and there's this
yeah,
being and things like that.
yeah.
This is a world that it's still, I feel like the
It's
alien
open
part
to
is still
anything.
new, like to an
Yes, yes,
extent, but metahumans have been around for quite some time, and
exactly.
clearly Lex has a problem with that, and there's some ideology challenges that Lex has as to why
He has an
other
agenda.
metahumans he doesn't
Yeah.
other metahumans that he doesn't see as much of a threat compared
Mhm.
to Superman. Like there's a thing that Lex talks about in the movie that just kind of tells you a little bit about how he sees him.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think three main characters that I feel like really staple their own unique take. Well, actually, there's more, but three, and this is the focus of the movie is David Corn sort of Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. They put a very strong stamp into those characters. It's a reimagination. A lot of it, there's similarities here and there. Obviously, some things are consistent across all the iterations, but it's a very fresh world and very fresh set of these characters interacting inside of this world. But I
Mhm.
do got to give a shout out to also Eddie Gattegi as Mr. Terrific. I love Mr.
Yes.
Terrific in the comic
Oh
books,
man.
and they showed very little of him and very
In the
one-dimensional things
trailers,
in
yeah,
the
but you're
trailers.
gonna be very
But
surprised, moviegoers. We'll say that. Don't that
yes,
shit. You're
no,
gonna be
I won't
very.
say
I was
anything else.
shocked. I was shocked. I was like,
He is
wow,
so good.
it's
I'm
so damn great.
excited to
He's
see him.
witty. He's a little petty, little petty, a little petty. I like it. I like
He's
it
one of
though.
the smartest people out
Yeah,
there, right? And like
yeah,
yeah, it's just I know we keep calling it the start of the DCU, and you're right. Like from our fan point of view, it
yeah.
is. But I really like that. Like you jump into this world and you realize, well, this started a long time ago. Like this is
Exactly.
a
Yes,
lived-in universe.
yes, yeah.
And
And
I
I
think,
like that, I like
yeah,
that. And it's not, and we could confirm, and James Gunn already said it. This isn't a Superman origin story. It's
no,
not
yeah,
like it's not. And I like that because we already seen it. We know the story. It's like Batman, it's like, it's Batman all over again. We already know the story. We already know what happens.
yeah,
Everyone's very knowledgeable in the story and everything. So yeah. And of course, it's a shift from the darker tone that we come to know, which was Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, Snyder cut and everything. So it's definitely a good shift here. And the metahuman world to where, it's very optimistic. I'm very it's very optimistic. It's sincere in certain ways, and at the same time, I know this is a kind of a playful word, but I'm gonna say it's very playful and it's very comic bookish in a way to where it kind of expands where anything can happen in this universe. And I love that though. Don't get me wrong. I love that because I think that's the main goal for the DC universe now than it was ever before. And I love that because now it's like, now we can have more characters, more people can it kind of leaves that open in a way. And it's
yeah.
like it's very what do you call it? It's it's very inviting for other people now, less grounded, like how the Batman is with Matt Reeves. It's less, less grounded and everything, and it
Yeah, no,
definitely
this is
we see a
definitely
shift
like
for
in the
that.
sci-fi space.
Yeah,
It's very comic book, very Silver Age Superman, which James Gunn has referenced a lot.
100%.
But yeah, no, like I said, guys, we keep saying great things, and you might ask yourself, like, well, why didn't you love it? I think a lot more of that comes in the
And we'll talk
spoiler
about that right
side,
now.
but
Yeah, well,
but
we'll talk about that right now. Like we could mention a few things,
well,
just like
yeah, I
what.
was gonna
Yeah, yeah.
say, so a couple of things is like I mentioned, I think there was um really well balanced toned, but the way that the script played out in the time that they had, I think there was some scenes where they were trying to go deep, both from
Mhm.
an emotional standpoint and for character moments, and the depth was just like a level short, and it feels like it's kind of like you were seeking for a feeling, you were seeking for something, and you're right about there to feel that, and then it goes away, it dissipates a little bit. And I think having that experience a little bit too many times is kind of what I was like, man, we were so close to be there to like a deep emotional connection at some points. Overall, the theme is very wholesome, and I aligned with that very well. But I wanted to not just hear about it, but feel it a little bit deeper as well. And so I think the movie at times lacked that component,
Mhm.
making it so that once again, I really, really enjoyed the movie. I loved a lot of things of the movie, but I can't
Yes.
say that I loved it
Yeah.
as a whole. I still think at the end of the day, like I would have preferred like a bit more centered story
Mhm.
that gives space for both Superman and Clark Kent. The movie is very Superman centric, and it puts us into this space and more of the daily life of Superman, the character,
Yeah,
as opposed to Clark Kent, the counterpart. And as a Superman fan, like I love the dual
the
aspect of
duel.
that
Yeah,
identity.
the two
So
characters, the entourage, or the not the entourage, the ego of
yeah,
Superman. Yeah, yeah, I got
so
you.
so so that
Yeah,
so that taking a little bit of a back
and
seat
we
to
didn't
an
see
extent,
that. Yeah,
yeah, I think it hurt the movie for me to
hundred
say,
percent
like,
agree.
once again, this was the exact take that I envisioned. And it's not always going to be like that. That's also part of my fault for the certain expectations that I had around this. But it's allowed me to say, like, while I
Yeah,
really really enjoyed the movie, it was just
yeah.
missing some of those things to bring it together.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you as well on that part. All the points the key points you mentioned here, and of course, I'm gonna elaborate more so on the emotional standpoint. And again, we come back to where, uh, the emotional grasp that there was moments where it was getting very heartful. It was getting very emotional, and then again, James Gunn's really good at this. Don't get me wrong. Then it cuts off into a joke, and I was very like annoyed because that kept happening, but at the same time, though, I understand because look at the predicament they're in with the DC. Like they don't want James Gunn's probably like, we don't want to make it too serious. So like we kind of add the humor to bring more lightfulness. It's just I understand that and I get that. So if this is this is nearly the start of a universe, first movie ever, if you will, I'm 100% on board for this universe. I'm 100% on board. Don't get me wrong, little small nippets there, but yeah, I didn't like how they kept doing jokes after jokes, but like I said, at the same time though, look at
So
what they were in, so
some of
yeah.
them were very effective. Like the crowd
Yeah,
was
yeah.
laughing, I was
Like
enjoying it. I think the movie,
the one of the characters I really did love that was joking a lot, of course, was Jimmy Olsen. Man,
oh great,
he
he's great.
is the best, honestly, the best Jimmy Olsen I've ever seen on camera. That's it's
Yeah,
like his
100%.
humor, charming. I mean, I'll just he goes around, and that's the comic book one that we've come to know, and it's like it's so amazing. I love it. I love him. I love that guy as an actor because we've seen him in Santa Clarita Diet,
Yeah,
seen his
Skylar
career
Gisondo.
grow from Santa Clarita Diet, Righteous Gemstones, and now he's in a big budget movie. It's really great to see that, to
Yeah,
see a character or to see an actor really grow and everything. And then yeah, so just for me, it was just that. And was the script kind of thin a little bit on story, focusing on Clark Kent and Superman? Yeah, yeah, it was. But at the same time, though, it was setting up. I feel like it was a setup, of course, to the whole universe, if you will. But I mean, it's the nature of the business, it really is, and they have to create this world of elements of intriguing, inviting of metahumans, and then invite us in as well, into Clark Kent, which I wish we would have got a little bit more of, and I wish we could have
yeah,
gotten a little bit more of the Daily Planet. I wanted more
yeah.
of that, but I'm interested in those 20 minutes, man. We talked about, yeah,
Yeah, and the power of media and all that, like, was present. So clearly,
yes,
Daily Planet and its
and they
own
touched up on
creative
it.
character.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
touched up on it a little bit and then they left it. And I was like, damn,
yeah, but
I was intrigued at that point, But yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I once again, I want to remind people that
Justice Gang.
like like the great thing about this is a lot of the problems that we've had, it's things, once again, even if it's our own expectation, it's things we would
Yeah.
have like seen added to this.
Yes.
Once again, whether that's time, additional scenes,
Mhm.
some of the jokes, like I said, maybe balancing that out, maybe take out a few, but it's more about the adding. Like we wanted a
Mhm.
little more as opposed to subtracting, right? Like
Yes.
we could have said, like, yeah, no, this one part totally didn't work, I would have not wanted that at all. I didn't really feel like that. So
Mhm.
that's the exciting part about this. I think this movie has a lot of mass appeal, and I think it's done enough to
100%.
really justify this is worth exploring. This is worth
Mhm.
continue to build it. And I'm really hoping this movie does really well. I'm really
Mhm.
excited about that. I think that's it did exactly what it needed to do. I obviously had the expectations that I wanted to be blown completely out of the water and things like that.
Same.
I didn't
Same.
hit there. Some moments did, but I didn't
Yeah.
hit get all the way there with the movie as a whole.
Mhm.
But man, like
Strong, strong
I've
lead
seen it
performances. Like,
twice.
yeah,
I've seen it twice, and I'm excited to see it again.
see it
You know,
again. Yeah, strong lead performances here. Vibrant visuals, comic book energy. Love
yeah,
that comic book energy. Let's get right to it. All right, Lex, what's your rating? 1 out of 10. 10 being the highest. Let's give our ratings, then we'll end the episode, guys. But ratings 1 out of 10. 10 being the highest. What do you give it?
yeah, man. I think this is a. I know I always do the point system. I think this is a very solid like 8.3 for me.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay. All
right
right.
there. I think this, and I didn't do this on purpose. I told Ryan my rating even yesterday before the Rotten Tomatoes thing. But if I'm not mistaken, Rotten Tomatoes is sitting somewhere around there as well. You know, you're in the
Yeah.
80s. You're in the fresh area. And for me, like even though that's not the exact metric I use, 8.3 feels right for me right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a solid 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. I know Lex already knows this, but the number one best superhero course is Batman. I mean, come on. But anyways, this gets me excited for future projects as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see certain projects in the future DC projects and everything. So I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm excited for other moviegoers to really check this movie out. I'm excited for
Yeah.
fans because it seems like the majority of audience
They
is
seem to be enjoying it. Yeah.
relieved that it's not as dark as the Snyder cut. Relieved that
Well, I
it's
don't think it's
it's a
even
different
about
take.
that.
Yeah.
I
No,
I
no, no,
think
no.
they're
But it's
relieved
it's
that it's
just
a good story.
yeah, yeah. Well, for me, honestly, it's in my head, in my little head of thinking. I think it's relief that that we know this is the start of something new. You
Yeah.
know, to quote High School
Change of
Musical.
pace.
To quote High
Change of
School
pace.
Musical, the start
Yeah.
of something new. But yeah, I feel it, and it's great, it's grand, and I can't wait for new stuff. San Diego Comic Con, I'm telling you, he's gonna announce Superman 2. He's gonna announce it.
I can't
Superman
wait to
2.
see
All
this
right.
character again.
Alrighty, guys. The question is for you guys. What did y'all think? Let it know in comments down below. Let us know in the comments. What did you guys think of this movie? Of our ratings. Let us know in the comments down below. If you plan on seeing Superman, this coming weekend. If not, maybe the following weekend. Because in 2 weeks' time, Fantastic Four is coming out. So July is full of superheroes right now, and yeah, I'm excited to see Fantastic Four as well, and excited to see what more can we get out of James Gunn now that the first DC movie's out now. What more can we get out of him? That's all I'm saying. Because I know he's got a little brain of his. He already has a plan what he wants to do, and I hope he announced the hope he announced some more revealing details of Brave and the Bold. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm ready to see a bright Batman. I really am. I'm ready. But all right, guys, thank you so much, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Aka Ryan 680.
And this was Lex, guys. Soar high, look up, and watch the movie.
Eyes up. Look up. Latest.